Thank you, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me. So I'm Sebastiano Buscaglione, network architect in GÉANT. And first of all, let me start a little bit with what is GÉANT. GÉANT is a membership organization with 38 members, representing effectively 42 countries and an additional associated member as the economy of Kosovo. And one of the 38 members is Nordnet, that represents the 5 Nordic countries. Together in GÉANT, we do several things which are focused around improving collaboration within the research and education sector in the European area, particularly, and then globally. Right, and you can see here some of our members, and one of our members obviously is Jisc, right? And what is Jisc in GÉANT? Jisc is in terms of the consumption of our network services, is the largest, consistently the largest NREN in Europe, and is also a very important member within our governance. And here you can see where Heidi, the CEO of Jisc, is effectively a member of our board. So an important member both from the technical point of view and in terms of our governance. So now today I'm going to talk about our network, which is one of the things that we do, like I said, to provide communication between all of the various research and education network in the European area, our members, right? We run this network that you see over here. We have recently refreshed our network infrastructure by moving to an infrastructure ownership model, where we're basing our infrastructure on fiber and spectrum in the vast majority of the cases, all the way to the edges of our coverage area, right? We have 30,000 kilometers of fiber spectrum, and we have POPs in 25 countries. We run on our own open line system, so WDM system on top of it. So we are self-provisioning on this infrastructure. And one important thing also, almost a quarter of this entire infrastructure is provided to GÉANT by our member NREN. So the member NREN are providing GÉANT with portion of their fiber links, then on top of which we install our WDM system, and we can then integrate them as part of our network. So there's quite a strong collaboration going on there. And then for what concern the UK, we have POPs in London and Slough, right? These are the two locations where we have POP today, and we have the possibility in the future to open a location in Manchester, where we are connecting 2 pieces of infrastructure together, right? So in terms of what we are looking for in the next phase, here you can see some additional lines on the map, and these are there are 2 subsea systems in the Mediterranean that we're working on. One is the Medusa system, which is subsea cable, and then another one is Blue Raman. They are meant to interconnect Europe to, for example, North Africa, in the case of Raman, to India, right? But they are providing some additional opportunities within the Med area. For example, with Medusa, we are looking at connecting Malta, and with Raman, and also Cyprus, right? So there's some additional meshing, and then we're looking at the number of activities around strengthening the resilience of our network infrastructure. And you can see those kind of orange line, for example, from Copenhagen to Manchester. That's a link that we are interested in looking at for a potential increase of meshing. And then Pisces, that goes between Ireland and Portugal, is another link of very high interest. So we are looking now at strengthening our network infrastructure to increase the availability. So in terms of, obviously we run substrates, so fiber, spectrum, our own WDM system based on Infinera Nokia. And for what concerns the IP MPLS network that we run on top of it, we are recently migrating to Nokia from Juniper. We have been with Juniper for very, very long time, and a very successful system with the MX series that we deployed in 2012. But we're now moving to the Nokia SR7S and SR2 SE, which are, let's say, the typical carrier router from the Nokia offer. And we have the possibility with this to support 400 and 800 gigabit capacity, and we already have our Western Ring, which is effectively London, Paris, Frankfurt, Geneva, and Amsterdam, which is currently running at 1.6 terabit per second, so 4 times 400G. What we're looking at, and I've seen also an interesting area where also Jisc is looking at, is these packet optical interfaces, the ZR+, which are WDM interfaces directly in the routers. And in this case, that was a very important feature on our selection of the routing kit. All the migration also, interestingly, is being executed via automation, which is quite an interesting point as well. So now, how we interface with the other world region, with the previous project GÉANT, we have effectively refreshed our pan-European network infrastructure, moving to this infrastructure ownership model, and we're now looking at moving to interconnect Europe effectively to the rest of the world in a more in similar fashion. So improving the reliability of our connectivity toward the rest of the world in various dimensions. And we have a project there that we're working on, which is GÉANT5 IC1, which is providing us with 50 million euros to make an investment in some international intercontinental connectivity. And also the project is requiring us, which started in 2023, right? It's requiring us to provide a long-term intercontinental capacity and investment plan. Now, one thing obviously that comes to mind when I was looking at this, and you say like, well, we interconnect to the other world region, and then we have 15 million, and in Europe we have 50, right? Obviously, you can only go so far with this amount when you go to intercontinental connectivity. Intercontinental connectivity is very expensive. You're talking about subsea system going between Europe and other world regions, and generally these systems, you need investment in the tens of millions to get to have something sensible on these systems, right? So it's a very, very different environment, and one where we, with this type of investment, and I'm talking infrastructure, effectively being able to acquire a proportion of the system itself, not just being a customer on top of it. This is required, and a lot of challenges, much higher risk, regulatory challenges. In Europe we work between our memberships, and frequently also our capacity is not enough to justify the level of, let's say, anchor investment that you require to get into this type of business, right? So the bottom line is we cannot do this alone. Our demand itself is not enough. Our capital availability is not sufficient to allow us to do what we want to do. And that's one of the things that we started to look is who are the other stakeholders, who do we need to work with to enable us to gather enough critical mass to effectively bring up those type of investment at the level that we want to do them, which is an infrastructure level where we can rely upon our investment for many years to come. So we started mapping the various parties, and you can see that for us this is just mapping our membership, our global partners. The Commission, European Commission, is an important funder for our activities. So again, very important for us. The telco partner, very important stakeholders, strong relationship required there in order to be able to pull out those kind of investment. And financial institutions are very important as well. And in this case, we're working particularly with the EIB or various financial instruments that exist. So we want to go there, and we started looking at also where are we sitting at when we started to look at this. We have some past and previous we had some past success with the ELA link. In this case, GÉANT was an anchor tenant in the ELA link, which is the first, not exactly the first, but is one unique piece of connectivity that connects Europe directly with South America. Right, and that was done previously, so 2017, 2018, something like that, when we closed that. And then at the time where we were starting this, there was also an ongoing engagement on the Medusa cable system that I showed you previously, where we got engaged more strongly, and we are now co-building a fiber in the system with a 40 million euros investment together with the European Commission, EIB, Medusa, ASREN with the Arab state NREN. It represents all the North African countries. And together with this group, we are now pulling out an investment which will provide us with half of a fiber pair, effectively in terms of spectrum, or 10 terabits across this system. So since then, we have been kept working on in a similar fashion to try to effectively move our connectivity for what is kind of generally lease capacity on shorter, medium terms toward an infrastructure investment, spectrum, fiber, be co-owner of systems. And another one that we're working on quite actively at the moment is Blue Raman, a system which is built by Telecom Italia Sparkle. Okay, that connects effectively Milan all the way to Mumbai via effectively also East Africa and Djibouti. And so we are at the moment involved in acquiring a 15% spectrum or 3 terabits of potential capacity across these systems. One important thing to say when you are looking at kind of this level and this type of investment, you're not A to B. You're not effectively connecting only the 2 points or multiple. You can open up the system in the future at different location and interconnect it with other systems. So there's a number of properties when you're effectively dealing with this type of infrastructure compared to services or upper layer services. And then back on the GÉANT 5 IC1, I was talking about this 15 million. 1 point something went to just a lease capacity, 100G link to Singapore that was needed to reinforce our capacity towards Southeastern Asia. But the majority of it goes toward an investment in 2/4 of a fiber between Europe and North America. And we are also coordinating and somewhat sharing this investment with the ESNet, the Energy Sciences Network in the United States, which is also investing in 2 cable systems toward Europe. So we are effectively together acquiring 4/4 of a fiber between North America and Europe, and coordinating to ensure that we have a good level of resiliency. And for what concerns GÉANT, our investment at the moment is considered to be between New York and Copenhagen via AC2, and then between Madrid and Atlanta, hopefully on Anhana, which is a new upcoming Meta system. Following that, we have a pipeline of projects that now we are looking at, right, which are in this area, so intercontinental connectivity. And here you see some of the project, and it's between, let's say, the GÉANT is monitoring for interest. They are projects that we believe are going to bring important elements in terms of intercontinental connectivity. And this is kind of a view, a little bit of what the could look like when you're looking at what are the areas that we're looking at connecting, right? And this obviously is connecting Europe to the next, regional area. Together with the global RREN community, we expect that we will be coordinating, and we are today coordinating a number of activities which are down to covering the entire global need of research and education networks, right? And we want to connect why are we doing the investment in the way that we do, and it's also to provide dependable infrastructure, right? We want to have a piece of infrastructure that we can build our strategy upon, not something that may be missing tomorrow, maybe inadequate, and that's why we are buying and acquiring this infrastructure at this level. What are the main risks that we are facing today, at least from kind of my point of view? It's vulnerability of infrastructure, right? We know that there is a limited infrastructure subsea, and there are increased threats to this infrastructure, so we need additional diversification. And diversification in terms of supplier, cable routes, technology, all of it, right? And then the other very important threat, I think, which is even more interesting, is the OTT. That effectively, this is the Meta, Google, AWS, Amazon. Amazon, not AWS. They are actually acquiring and building infrastructure for themselves and not effectively releasing it in the market anymore. in the future, these are private cable. This is not telecom infrastructure that is available for us to buy. And unless we have what we need and we put ourselves at the build level in terms of investment, we may find that we don't have the infrastructure to buy the day that we go to the market and we request something, because this infrastructure is in private hands, right? So bottom line, I was going back to the fact that we cannot do this alone, and my kind of call is, let's do it together. Let's work together to ensure that the research and education network have the infrastructure that they need to carry out their important mission in the next foreseeable period. And with this, thank you.